580 something. What was it?
89.
89.
Yeah.
And we're back with a topical one today. When do you get like really fixated and strict and nerd out on like everything is perfect? This is a science experiment. I am standardizing my tea practice. And when do you say, screw it, I'm just throwing tea in the cup and I don't care how hot the water is, really? So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's start with like the competition, not competition style. I've been doing that recently, but when would you get really kind of strict? At least for you, maybe. Let's do it like this. Let's do it in like tea noob phase.
Sure.
And then more advanced tea drinker phase. So when would you start getting strict? What would your advice be for a new drinker when they should get strict?
I mean, I think generally, if things are scarce, like let's say, so last episode we brought on the 2004 Bien Hao Iwu,
Yeah.
and let's say you're a new drinker, you've been drinking for 2 or 3 months.
Sure.
You bought a sample of this, or maybe you split it, so you only got like 3 sessions worth, or 2 sessions worth, or 1 session worth.
Right.
You definitely want to be pretty strict then.
Right.
If it's more of a renewable resource, so it's like, if we're drinking 2012 7572
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
it's like, yeah, you could be a little loosey-goosey with that because you have more, there's less of a cost to get repetitions and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So that's probably how I would think about it. And that's also how I think about it too, as someone with a little more experience. Just if something is gettable again, or if it's like I know how it's going to be, I'll be a little bit less strict.
Sure.
Whereas it's like something is like, oh, this cake is famous and fancy and it's $2,000 a cake. I don't know when I'm going to get to try it again. I'm going to try to lock in as best as I can.
And will you do anything in that same kind of vein of strictness of thinking about tea, preparing for a nicer tea that you're about to drink? Would you be equally strict about other teas that are related to that tea, referencing around that tea? Would you bring other things to that session, to prepare for it in a strict way as well?
Yeah, perhaps. I do find that if I really want to lock in and taste a tea, a clean palate is probably the best way.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think sometimes on group sessions especially, people can be like, oh, we're going to save the 50s gold coin or whatever for last.
Yeah.
And you run the risk of blowing out your palate before then.
I agree.
So there is something to be said for having the highlight tea early-ish. For me, it's like if I'm on my own, I'm going to have that tea first.
Yeah.
While my palate is clean. There are some exceptions, like if you just ate a meal or something, maybe you want to, hang out for a bit before you start that session.
So we just did a 7572 from the 80s.
Yeah.
And would you, if you were going to, like, let's say that we were really coveting that session, which we did not so much, but let's say that we were going to, would you, running up to that, also not the same day, but like the day before, get out that 97 sample, and then the day before that, then the 2010, or would you, or let's say that you're doing, you're getting really excited about that 2004 Bien Hao Iwu that's just about to arrive at your door. Are you going to be breaking into other Iwus that or 6 famous mountain teas that you have on hand? Are you going to be doing anything in the context of that one strict session you're about to have?
Maybe these days a little bit less so because I feel like I have a decent grasp on things. But if you're newer, then
sorry, I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you do these mega reports where you do like 70, not literally, but like sometimes literally, like 70 longs or whatever. Yeah. So you're like, I don't do it too much.
Yeah.
Like,
There's definitely some, I think the kids call it scope creep or something like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what? Once you get in the zone too, you can crank them out. Yeah.
Sure.
It's like, to evaluate teas 1 through 10, it's harder than evaluating teas 50 through 60.
Yeah.
50 through 60, once you're locked in and you're in the zone, you don't need to drink as much to understand the teas.
Yeah.
So part of it is experience. Also, if you are kind of locked in that zone where you're drinking a lot of Iwus, it's so much easier to to evaluate.
Yeah, totally. And so part of that too is that you talk about having like being in shape. When I want to be drinking fancier tea, I'd like to be having 4 sessions a day for a few days up to leading up to that tea. Personally, I just want to know that I'm not just like I've been drinking a lot of Rapuer and I really want this. I want to be able to understand the nuances of the
Sure.
tea and how. If I'm having bad allergies, I'll skip that tea session.
Sure. I mean, and one of the ideas that you had for an episode with the Be and How, and we ended up just making it a normal episode, was to have it with, and I think we might do this for a Denny Soda or something, is have it with cheaper teas. And the goal of it basically is to try to understand it, what makes it special and what makes it stand out versus, less cheaper alternatives. So, I mean, like, there's oftentimes a purpose to those such comparisons and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a very, when you get a new tea, you want to try to understand it, and doing that is one way to kind of get a certain angle on understanding that tea.
Yeah, totally. Same answer, basically. I mean, and I'd say the strictness for me, when I'm trying to understand a category, I want to get as strict as I possibly can if I'm getting familiar with it. Brew how people recommend, and then keeping that standardized. It could be competition style, which I've been experimenting with more recently.
Yeah.
Or just keeping the standardized, it's the same Gaiwan, same exact setup, same place that you're in physically, in person, in your house. Having there be a standard there so that you're plugged into the differences.
Right.
I think is really useful. So making sure that you're inside or outside, but you keep staying inside or outside, things like that.
Yeah, the consistency I think is important, because if you're changing it up every time with different teas and stuff, you're just going to have so many confounding variables too. So obviously it's very, it's understandable to have to mix things up a little bit. Like if you only have like 3.5 grams and your normal session is 4 grams, it's fine. You do what you can.
Yeah.
But trying to keep things relatively consistent I think is important.
And keeping it consistent beyond the brewing parameters of the tea itself. But, again, how you show up to that session, how you have it in your day, things like that. If you can, it doesn't have to be so rigid and things like that. That's when I'm trying to be strict. So let's talk about when you want to be casual. When are you going to go and have a session that's outside of your perfect optimized parameters and you're throwing tea in a Gaiwan? What's your casual life around tea look like? Is it more, does the casual tea vibes dominate more of your drinking than strict tea? What's it look like?
So if I just want the caffeine, which is what casual looks like for me, then that would be probably my session in the morning with my wife, where I will just use a big dilute pot of 10 grams of ripe or ripe-ish. Luau would be essentially the same, or some like dank raw, and brew it. It's like if I have to step away and make my bowl of oatmeal for a second and let tea steep, that's fine.
Right.
Not a big deal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, maybe even better.
Yeah.
Totally. So you're not drinking raw pu'er very casually at all?
For casual?
Yeah.
No. I mean, if I would, it'd be like heavier stored stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, which is, fundamentally kind of perhaps more similar to ripe rather than something like this. This would be an absolute waste to drink in that context.
Yeah.
This is the 2004 Bio and How you.
I have tried to drink this in a casual way.
And?
It's much worse.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think part of it, again, is the kind of intentionality of bringing your best drinking self to the session.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just objectively much worse.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the casual drinking then tends to be more about my relationship to the tea that I'm having, how focused I am on tea that specific day, if it's just like getting it in me because I'm trying to... sounded great. I'm trying to, get caffeine versus being like, oh, wow, I'm really trying to be discerning. But I'd say that my casual drinking probably is about 50% of my drinking, 60%.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Almost all of my white tea, black tea, green tea, and oolong tea is what I would consider to be casual drinking.
Okay.
I'm really never, ever measuring ever with that stuff.
Okay. Do you drink any of those more seriously?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, just being honest about it.
So it's
not really, no. I mean,
so
we've had great quality of those teas, but I've never been investigating it deeply, no.
What do you drink seriously then? Raw?
Yeah.
And ripe?
Raw.
Just raw.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, even the ripe, it's very just sporadic, and it's how it goes. As big of a chunk as I'm, do I have like my little tea pick close by? No? Okay, it's going in. Who cares? So, I mean, yeah, ripe for me is the most casual brew for sure. I'm so familiar with my kind of like quiver of black, white teas, green teas that I just kind of can eyeball them really effectively. So they are fairly self-similar. If I'm doing any sort of evaluation, almost always it's going to be pretty particular. But if it's like I have no idea about this tea whatsoever, I'm just going to throw it in a cup and just smell it kind of a vibe, that'll be pretty casual.
Okay.
If it smells just bad, I won't pursue it at all.
Okay.
So there's kind of like gradations of it. So I could have kind of a casual evaluation, which is just sort of like vibes. Is this just gross? And then, okay, I can get into some specifics if I want to actually enjoy the tea. So yeah, I don't know. Sprawling answer.
Yeah.
I think both of us, though, we do drink more particularly when, especially together, which is maybe less the case sometimes for some people when they drink with other friends. So maybe we can wrap with that. Like,
Yeah.
do you find that when you're drinking with other people, are you more focused on the tea? Does it vary? Are you more focused on the conversation?
Yeah, it
Is it a
depends.
hindrance?
If I'm meeting up with like a tea friend, then it's definitely going to be semi-focused on the tea.
Right.
But even there's a difference of like, are you meeting up with a tea friend or a tea friend that you met up with like 20 times already?
Right.
In that case, you might be a little more casual with it.
Right. Right. You and I are very comfortable with each other, so
We've known each other a long time.
so it's easy for us to just be very focused on the tea.
Yeah.
Right. And have that banter be just like totally natural. Yeah. Coming back to this tea, I'd say that, I socialize as well. If I'm having tea with someone who's pretty new, I'm talking more about explaining what the tea's like and stuff like that.
Sure.
Whereas, with you and I, it's much more just like, whoa, it's hitting me.
Yeah.
I think I eyeballed this session, pretty comfortable with this tea at this point, but having something standardized is also definitely worthwhile, especially on a show like this.
Yeah. Well, and it's also just one less variable you have to worry about, too. We also had tea with Hanji recently,
right.
Which was fun. And the flow of this, the sessions are just a little bit depending on the context.
Oh man! Back to the Bien Hao for a second here, man. Maybe losing some of the mouthfeel viscosity, but that sweetness that comes now, that sugary sweetness, is still lovely.
I think picking up some kind of like leathery texture to it too.
Yeah.
It's real nice. Yeah. If you're tuning in from last episode.
Exactly. Okay. Well, let us know in the comments about how you guys think about casual brewing versus kind of more specific, studied, lab-based brewing. When do you do each, right? I'm just curious, honestly. And click all the buttons, subscribe, do all the things. Comment below. Tell us about your dog.
If you have ideas for special episodes, feel free to comment.
Yeah.
We're always open to different ideas, trying to do more of these rather than just tea.
Exactly. The thematic ideas-based episodes are something we're trying to do at least once
every few episodes.
Yeah.
So Cheers.
Love you guys. Peace.